everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my favorite middle grade fantasy books. I have to say that I think some of them would cross the boundaries between middle grade and young adult, because it starts with the main character when they're younger and follows them through as they grow up. I also would say that they're not entirely 100% fantasy. I think some of them have some elements of science fiction. Some of them have mystery elements and different things like that. So I can't say they're purely fantasy, but they all have fantastical elements of some sort or another. I don't really have them in any particular order as far as what my favorite ones are or not favorite ones, because I think some of them might become higher favorites after I finish the series, because there's a few of the series that I just haven't finished. But kind of the last 3 or 4 are definitely in order of my favorites. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first series I want to mention is The Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. This is a young adult fantasy series. We follow Sophie, who she thinks she's she feels like she's different in the human world because she can read people's minds. People think she's a little crazy, and then she finds out that she is an elf. She's the creation of the Black Swan, which is an organization within the Elvish community that's not supposed to exist, because everyone just follows the rules and does exactly what they're supposed to because they're elves and they're not like people. I've read the first 2 books in this series. I believe there's 8 total. So looking forward to listening to the rest of them. I have been listening to these on audiobooks, and me and my kids, we've certainly enjoyed them. So we're going to keep going with it. But I think it could turn out to be one of my favorites. I just need to read them all. Alright, the second series that I want to talk about is the Serafina series by Robert Beaty. Again, there's 4 books in this series. I've only read the first 3, but I've certainly really enjoyed the ones that I've read. The series follows Serafina. She is a girl who lives at Biltmore Estate, but no one's supposed to know that she lives there. Her father keeps her hidden. Her father runs all the machinery and everything that keeps it going. This is an old estate that actually exists, and it was kind of the first ones to have electric heating and those kind of things, so he had to run her father runs the generator and everything in this estate. He found her abandoned as a baby and decided to raise her as his own daughter, and she's a little bit different. She seems to be, there's something different about her. She's not quite human, I guess you would say. And her father tells her that everyone at Biltmore needs to have a job, and her job is the rat catcher. And eventually her job changes to be the protector of the children of that Biltmore Estate. And there is evil things going on, and people and magic and everything that is out to get Biltmore Estate and puts everyone there in danger. And Serafina is there to kind of save the day. I've read the first 3 in this series. I really enjoy it. I like Serafina. I like all the different things that happen at the Biltmore Estate. So I'm really enjoying this, and I'll pick up the 4th book at some point. So the next series that I want to talk about is the Peculiar Children series by Ransom Riggs. This is a story about a boy named Jacob. His grandfather is, I guess, kind of crazy, and his grandfather dies, saying that he's trying to kill monsters and different things, and just kind of spouting stuff that Jacob finds kind of bizarre and doesn't know what's going on. And his grandfather was one of his best friends, and he follows some clues that his grandfather left and finds this island where he convinces his parents to take him there. And on this island he follows these clues till he finds this old dilapidated house that has all these strange pictures in it, and he kind of discovers that the children in those pictures might not be dead, and is quite expansive. I've read the first 3. I'm not really sure how many there are now. I think there's a 4th book, and I think there's a 5th book as well. So I'm kind of the best part about these are the cool pictures that are in them. They're these old-time kind of creepy pictures that he ties into the story to show that these are these kind of bizarre children that they have. There was a movie made of it, and the movie was okay, but it was really different than the book, really different. So at some point I hope to pick up the rest of this series. So those are the series that I haven't finished yet. Alright, the next book I want to talk about is a standalone book. It's called The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. This is a book about, there's a town or protectorate, and every year they sacrifice a baby to the witch that lives in the swamp. And in the meantime, there's this witch who lives in the swamp who can't understand why every year this protectorate just leaves a baby in the middle of the wood. The witch rescues the babies and takes them to a family to love them, feeding them starlight along the way. One time she accidentally feeds the baby moonlight, which makes the baby a magic, and therefore she has to raise the child as her own. The little girl's named Luna. There's all sorts of fantastical, wonderful things. It's just a really cute story. Liked it a lot, and I guess most I can do is read more by the author. The next series I want to talk about is The Candy Shop Wars by Brandon Mull. This is kind of a modern day fantasy about a group of kids, and this candy shop opens in town, and they go and they, are trying the candy, and they find out that the person who runs this candy shop is a witch, and the candy is magical, and it's kind of clear from the start that she might not be completely honest or upfront about what she's trying to do. And there's another candy shop owner in the town who's been there forever, and they find out he's a wizard, and so they're trying to figure out what's going on and who they can trust. And in the meantime, the witch has given them something to give their parents that kind of makes their parents lose interest in everything. So they're trying to figure out, they're also like really missing their parents and their parents' advice, and realize they don't have anyone to turn to. There were only 2 books in the series. I really enjoyed them. My kids really enjoyed them. We wish that there were more. And I guess that's why I put it like here on the list, because it would be fun if there were some more books in this series. The next series is the Wizard for Hire series by Obert Skye. This story follows a boy named Ozzy. When he was 6, his house was raided, his parents were taken, and he's lived in the woods by himself since he was 6. And I believe he's like 13 or 14 when the story takes place, and he's taken care of himself all that time. At that point, he decides he wants to track down his parents and find out what's happened to them, so he hires a wizard to help him track down his parents. And it's kind of questionable, like, what kind of wizard this person is, whether or not they're really a real wizard, whether real magic exists, and if so, what does it do? It has some great characters. I love the little mechanical bird that Ozzy's dad made that is his little companion. But it's a great story, great series. I like the ending. I just thought it was kind of all around a great story. So the next series I want to talk about is Leven, Thumps by Obert Skye. It's the same author that did Wizard for Hire. This is a story about a boy named Leven. His mother dies in childbirth. They don't really know who his father is. And he's abandoned as a baby, given to his aunt to raise. She doesn't really like him. And he learns about this magical place called Fu, which is the world of dreams. He has his little... Clover is his little sycophant, which is like his little companion that helps him get to Fu. And Clover's probably one of the best characters there is. There's also Geth, and Geth is also a great character in this. He's a toothpick. So he was a tree, but he was protecting Leven, and then when Leven went on his journey to Fu, Geth decided he needed to go, so he caused a ruckus and got chopped down and turned into a toothpick. So we have Clover and Leven, and Winter is the other character. She's a creature of Fu who came to help Leven get to Fu. Only she doesn't know it. So because she decided to become a baby so that she could grow up, and then when she was old enough she would help Leven. And it's a great fantastical journey. I enjoyed it a lot. Some pretty dark things happen in it, so just so you're aware, it's not like completely fun and games. Next one I want to talk about is, I guess this is out of order because this probably should have gone before Leven, Thumps. But the next one is His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. This one is The Golden Compass, which is the first book. There's an HBO series that's going on now. This so far been a fairly decent adaptation of it. We follow Lyra. Lyra's pretty special. In this world, they have what they call demons, which are little animal companions that are actually your soul. And we follow Lyra as she's trying to figure out what's happening in this world. Children are being stolen. Children are being separated from their demons. And there are armored polar bears that can talk. There's gateways to other worlds. So this is a pretty expansive. It was a fun series to read. My boys liked it also. So I highly recommend. Next series that I want to talk about is Fablehaven. This series is by Brandon Mull. We follow two siblings, Kendra and her brother Seth, and they go to visit their grandparents and find out that their grandparents are caretakers of this sanctuary for magical creatures. So there's all types of creatures there, and they are trying to solve a mystery. It's like what happened to their grandmother and a bunch of other things. So this series is also pretty expansive. There's dragons, there's quest to save the world and all that kind of stuff. So it was really great. I enjoyed it. And last, of course, can't have a good middle grade wrap up without Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. This is probably one of my favorite middle grade books. I think it goes into the realm of YA because of the ages of the characters in the book. I don't think Harry Potter needs much introduction. There's several movies, there's plenty of places you can go to learn about. Obviously we follow Harry, who when he's 11 discovers that he is a wizard and goes off to Hogwarts, which is the magical school where he will learn how to be a wizard. Alright, so those are all my middle grade fantasy books. Like I said, I think some of them would go into the realms of other things, but they all have some sort of fantastical element. Thanks everyone for watching. I post new videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so go ahead and like and subscribe.